You're listening to CFRC 101.9 FM, broadcasting from Kingston, Ontario since 1922. Find and follow us on Instagram at CFRC Music. Coming up in this special community takeover of our airwaves, we're talking to David Ellingwood, General Manager of Cataraqui Conservation. During the takeover, we'll also hear snippets of conversation with other participants in their recent Maple Madness kickoff event. Cataraqui Conservation is a community-based environmental protection and advisory agency created in 1964 by the province of Ontario at the request of municipalities within the Cataraqui watershed. Their mandate is to work in partnership with local municipalities, provincial and federal government agencies, environmental organizations, and the general public to monitor and protect water, natural habitats, shorelines, and promote sustainable living in our community. Cataraqui Conservation has jurisdiction over 11 watersheds spanning over 3,800 square kilometers of land from Greater Napanee to Brockville. You're listening to CFRC 101.9 FM, and today on our community takeover of the airwaves, I have David Ellingwood, General Manager of Cataraqui Conservation. David, welcome to the program.
Thanks very much for having me.
We had the very fun opportunity at CFRC here to take part in a special kickoff event that you had a couple weeks ago, which was Maple Madness. Obviously, that is a big calendar event for you, but certainly not the only programming that you do. So I wanted to take some time today to talk about what Cataraqui Conservation is. And I wonder if you could give folks a bit of a broad idea of what the organization is, what it does, and what area it covers.
So we have a lot of different programs, services, and responsibilities at Cataraqui Conservation. The one a lot of people know us for is things like Maple Madness. It's a special event. Conservation areas are really popular, so Little Cataraqui Creek, as well as Lemoyne Point here in Kingston. We have other properties out in Brockville. We have Mac Johnson Wildlife Area. We run Outdoor Education Center at Little Cat in town here. It has an education program. Lots of school kids and other people visiting, and rentals at the outdoor building. And then we have the more serious side, which has a lot to do with water. So this week it's the start of the big spring melt, or the freshet as we call it. So we've already had rain, warm temperatures, lots of melting snow. The snow was really high this year, 2.5 times the normal amount in the Kingston area. So a lot of that's melted and headed towards rivers. So now we are in a flood watch. So that's kind of another thing that we do, is we keep an eye on the river systems. We manage a few water structures along with others that do the same thing, but we work kind of together to work on managing the water. But our role is to look at the incoming weather, what the water courses are doing, and put out the messages so that the public is aware of the situation is, and if there's any dangers or risks. We talk with our municipal partners, and then the municipalities do a lot of the on-the-ground work. If they're helping homeowners or if they need to close off roads and things, that's the municipality doing that side of it. We also look after drinking water source protection. Water comes out of your tap, the intake in Kingston. Our role is more the policy and managing activities that could affect the source of the water. So just ensuring that everyone has clean drinking water. We're the first part of the system, and then processing, treatment, and distribution by the municipality is the other part of it, as well as testing, oversight from the ministry, and training for the staff that take part in all of that. So that's a big responsibility that kind of derived out of the Walkerton tragedy back in the year 2000. I was involved in that part of the program for a lot of years at conservation authorities. And then another one that we do is we issue permits for people that are doing development near water courses. So have a cottage or a property and there's water nearby, whether it's Lake Ontario or the St. Lawrence River or one of the inland cottage lakes or streams and creeks. You can look at people that are proposing development and are able to work with them to get their application for a permit and issue those permits. And then with our municipalities, when there's planning that's being done, whether it's a subdivision or a minor variance or a severance, we also review those files to see if there's any impact on water courses and if those projects would be able to get a permit later on to build on it. Lots of different things there.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a big responsibility, as you've said, but also just quite a breadth of programming and oversight that the organization has that I don't know that many people would think of it in such a broad way. You know, you think of conservation and you might think of forests or animals. You don't think of the impact necessarily on urban structures and households, but it's clearly there. Water, obviously, an incredibly important resource. How did you get involved? So you're the general manager now. How long have you been with Cataraqui Conservation?
I've been at Cataraqui Conservation for 2 years now, but this is part of sort of a 30-year career in conservation authorities at a few different places in the province. The reason I stay with conservation authorities is because I really like the breadth of programs, all the different areas that they get into. It's environmental in some ways, but I originally kind of got into it for the education side of things and kind of letting the public enjoy it and running events, and then got more into the technical side with drinking water source protection. I also helped with flood forecasting and warning and a bit of everything. So all the programs I was describing there, I've been involved in many of those over my career. So that's kind of helps me as a general manager to understand what my staff is facing and support them and advise the public and help them know how they can be involved and what they need to do, help them navigate if there's any kind of problems that come up.
So we have the one-on-one kind of working with public in terms of permits, but as you said, there's a lot of outreach and then there's a lot of activities and education that's involved as well. Can you speak generally about some of the programming that's offered at your different sites?
The one many people know us for is Little Cataraqui Conservation Area. It's on Perth Road or Division Street, just north of 401. In the winter, it has cross-country skiing trails. We have lots of nice hiking trails there, and we have our outdoor education center that offers programming to all ages. So we have school groups that come out there. We also bring in high school, even university. Lots of Queen's classes come out there for programs. We have different events. So Maple Madness is on right now. It runs every weekend through March as well as all March break. It's a great event. Sometimes we get 1,000 people or more per day, and we serve lots of pancakes.
And I can vouch they are excellent pancakes.
Yeah. We have good local supplier of our maple products coming from Salmon River. All those other products that people can buy in the maple shop there. Most people come out and they've been coming for, in some cases, generations. Grandparents are bringing their grandchildren to the event that they enjoyed when they were kids. And as you saw at our kickoff event that we had there, even MPs enjoy coming out. And you ride from the outdoor center, you get a wagon ride. We have 2 new wagons this year, thanks to a grant from the Samsung Community Fund, the City of Kingston. So with those, the end of the wagon ride, you're out at the maple sugar bush. It's set in a nice little ravine area. It has limestone escarpment in behind, a spring that comes out and a creek that runs through the middle there. We have wooden board and batten buildings out there and evaporator house, a demonstration of how maple syrup's made over the centuries, all the different methods from the indigenous knowledge as well as the way the settlers would have done it to more modern tubes that come down to the pan in the evaporator house. And then the big feature is the kitchen where you can buy your pancakes and get hot maple syrup on top of them. Our MP, Mark Garrettson, who very much enjoys coming out to Maple Madness.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon, everybody. You know it's a great event when my wife comes with me, because whenever Vanessa says, oh, I want to come to that, it's a great event. But it's an honor for us to be here with you today to celebrate the official kickoff to Maple Madness. We've been coming here as a family every single spring, and before we had Frankie and Vivian, our youngest two, we used to come with Mason all the time. And it is such an incredible opportunity for, in particular, young families, but everybody for that matter, to come and experience Maple Madness, to learn from Paul Carl, who we heard about earlier, to walk through the tour and to experience the process by which we have come, the indigenous roots to maple syrup right up to the modern techniques. It really is a great family experience to come here, and we've enjoyed it for so many years. So I just want to echo my thanks and congratulations to everybody involved. I know we also have a lot of local organizations and businesses like Terra Foods, who we're sitting with at the table there, who has for years been supplying the pancake batter. Actually, Vanessa started going there to buy the pancake batter as a result of learning that the pancakes were made with product from Terra Foods downtown. So this really is a community effort, a community initiative.
Mark Humans. We own and operate Salmon River Sugar Bush. Well, sugar and season again, so we're in the bush getting ready to tap. 16 years we've been making maple syrup, but we also have lots of other products, maple butter and seasonings and maple lollipops we've got, all kinds of goodies. When I grew up, my father always said if he was walking, he would have a sugar bush, so he was in a wheelchair, and he took us to sugar bushes when we were younger, so when we bought a farm that had a big sugar bush on it, we decided to get into maple syrup, but my grandparents also sugared too. They made maple syrup in the 50s and 60s. We did have a generational pause, but yes, a family tradition for sure. We're at the Memorial Center Farmers Market every week. We've got 4 or 5 butcher shops in Kingston. All our products for the month of March are here at Little Cat, and they can look us up online, Salmon River Sugar Bush.
So over time, different tools were used. But we really like to emphasize through all our teachings with all our programs, public or for the schools, that it was the first peoples, it was the indigenous peoples, listening to the animals, listening to the land. that passed it along to the settlers. So as you make your way around and just have a little explore of this place, you'll notice different signage and some of the tools that would have been used over time. And I like to say they're not better, so when you get into the evaporator, it's just different. It's a different intention, a different focus, and perhaps more can just be cooked down. And yeah, it's quite a wonderful opportunity this time of year for people to enjoy just being out here and learning the different ways.
I think it's a wonderful kickoff to the spring season, where we're in this kind of in-between season where obviously snow's melted enough that you're not out skiing, but there's still snow on the ground and mud on the ground, and it might feel like, well, there's not a lot to do. But it's amazing how beautiful the forest is even in this pre-springtime state, and just to be out there and breathe in the firewood smoke and the maple boiling. It's just a lovely sensory activity. Obviously, as we've said, this is a big kickoff, but it's just a hint of what's to come. Can we talk about some of the other activities that happen through the spring, the summer, and the fall?
Sure. We offer therapy walks, forest therapy walks at all different times, especially around solstice and equinox, spring and towards Christmas time, Valentine's, all different times through the year. So we have 3 or 4 of those that are coming up in April, May, and June. So you can go to cataraqui and look on the events page to find those ones that are coming up. Just finishing up a series of seniors programs. So we got a grant from the province to do some programming for seniors. So those are kind of new things that we're offering to that sector of the community. They've been really successful. I think we're going to continue on with those. Anything from learning about wildlife to the therapy walks, bird watching. We often offer like frog evening programs and owls once in a while too, which are my favorite. I can call in the owls.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I was talking to someone recently who was saying that seeing an owl was on their wish list for the area. So maybe this is a great opportunity for them.
Both Little Cat and Lemoyne Point resident owls there. Often hear the barred owls. If you're there towards the end of the day, they come out a little bit early and start calling. I mentioned Lemoyne Point there is another one of our properties. It also has lots of great trails, over 100 hectares of property. We have shoreline on Lake Ontario. It's really, really popular, whether you start at the north end parking lot or the south end parking lot off of Front Street. It's a great place to walk through, nice mature woods there and lots to see. There's kind of a special project that we'll have going on at Lemoyne. We're taking a field area. Formerly it was a pasture area, so it's been growing up with dogwoods. We're going to have a contractor come and clean out the dogwoods and then replant it back to grassland. It's traditionally been home to bobolinks and meadowlarks and swallows, but with all the dogwoods there, it's not as good a habitat for those species. And some of these species are species at risk. So it's important that we have this habitat, especially like corner of the urban area, to offer that habitat. Species at risk is important. So we're excited to be undertaking that this year.
It's interesting because Lemoyne Point and Little Cat are surprisingly close. You know, when people think about going out in nature, it feels like something that's a long trek or something that's hard to get to. But these are places and spaces that are within Kingston itself and that are accessible. And yeah, you can see a diversity of wildlife that you might not expect out there. Certainly lots of wild turkeys.
Turkeys, deer, we mentioned the owls, lots of different birds out there. Yeah, it's a good spot. The Kingston Field Naturalists like doing trips out in Lemoyne Point. It's easy to get to. Just outside of town, we have Parrots Bay, if you're heading out the Bath Road. So that's another pretty area there with the views around the wetland. Near Gananoque, we have Marble Rock, which is an outstanding hiking area. Has some good lookouts in there. North of town, up at Gould Lake. It's a little bit further out past Sydenham, but that's a really popular spot. The school board goes out there, their own programming for children there. They do kind of lots outdoor, they do canoeing and stuff on the lake there. There's old mica mines that are there, so it's got a neat historic context. And it has some good rugged hiking if you're looking for something not that far to town. It's maybe a 40-minute drive from the city here out to there. It's another pretty spot. If you're in the Brockville area, we have Mac Johnson Wildlife Area, which has kind of a large reservoir, marsh area, but lots of trails there. And the Friends of Mac Johnson run some really great special events. Family Day, they had dog sledding. They have a fall event coming up. They have a native plant nursery that they run there, and they do sales. Many days in the year, they'll have sales where you can go and buy these and plant them back at home. Lemoyne Point also has a friends group that has a native plant nursery. It's really successful, and they've been very helpful. The work that they've done there, providing some saplings, and now they're getting into wildflowers as well. And that's a good volunteer opportunity. They welcome having people if you want to join the board or the Friends of Lemoyne, but they also just have worker days where people can come to the nursery and volunteer their time, pot up some plants, learn how to get those together, and sprout some little seedlings. It's a fun group. They're a really good group, and they're looking always for people to help them out there.
That sounds like a great opportunity. Obviously, if you're an advanced gardener, that would be fantastic. But if you're interested in learning more about what plants are indigenous to the region and what can work well in the soil that you have in the area you have, that could be a great opportunity to get some expertise, get some great advice from people who know what they're doing, and also get out there and get your hands dirty.
Yeah. Just the variety of things that we offer. We also have the Cataraqui Trail. So this is a recreation trail, runs for over 100 kilometers from the Strathcona area near Napanee all the way up to Smith Falls. There's some really, really beautiful sections there. It comes through many different towns along the way. So you can actually start at a town and go to the next one and ride your bike or walk along. In the winter, it's open to snowmobiles. So you can walk, get something to eat, and head back. And then some parts of it are kind of remote. So you get a real feeling of being out there, and goes by the water and pretty views. So that's another good asset and parts on the Trans-Canada Trail network.
What a network you've got here. What is the actual footprint of the area that Cataraqui Conservation encompasses?
So we have 11 member municipalities. It's over 3,000 square kilometers. We run from the edge of Napanee all the way to Brockville, city of Kingston, and then north, not quite as far as Westport.
And I know Lemoyne Point, for example, that's free. It's from dawn till dusk.
Right, yeah. Most of our conservation areas they're just dawn to dusk.
Right.
There's not overnight opportunities, except when we do offer programs, the ones at Little Cat, the night hikes that we offer. There's a really nice opportunity there. Yeah, so they don't charge admission to them except at Little Cataraqui Creek. And we've kept the admission prices the same, but we actually reduced the family rate. A carload is now $12. And we also have a military member discount that we've started there as well.
And it's an extensive area that you can explore for that amount of money, and what an excellent way to spend some time with the family, or to just get out and clear your head at the end of a day.
Lots of good trails out there.
Yeah. Obviously, this is a huge area that you're covering. You have staff, but I'm assuming that you also have other people assisting. I think there were some volunteers with 30-year badges at the Maple Madness. I wonder if you could talk about the role that volunteers and other staff members have in this organization.
Sure. With all the different programs I've mentioned, you'd think we had a really big staff, but there's only about 30 full-time staff and another dozen or so part-time contract workers. So it's not a big team, but we're very efficient, and they're very keen and good workers. So we get a lot accomplished. In this area, it's pretty unique. We have a foundation, Cataraqui Conservation Foundation, that helps to raise funds, and they support things like our education and public programs that we run. But we also have 3 different friends groups. We have one for Lemoyne Point, one for Mac Johnson Wildlife Area out in Brockville, as well as another one for the Cataraqui Trail. So each one has kind of a slightly different interest. The Lemoyne group and the Mac Johnson group are similar. They run a plant nursery. The Mac Johnson one runs a lot of events there on that property. Friends of Lemoyne Point helps with some of the planting work that we do at Lemoyne there. There's a really strong interest in that part of it. And then Cat Trail is people that enjoy walking or biking on the trail or live near the trail, and it's kind of like it's their backyard. They'll volunteer, they'll fix potholes in the trail, they'll put up signs, they'll keep an eye on things, pick up litter. So all of those are really good groups. As mentioned, so Mac Johnson at events, they look for volunteers to help on some of the family events there, whether face painting or traffic management or figuring out what kind of groups and activities they're going to run. There's the plant nursery, same at Lemoyne Point, there's a plant nursery. There's also the board, the executive for Friends of Lemoyne, that they look for people. Cat Trail, be people that want to go on the trail and help with some of the maintenance work there. And then for our foundation, it's really a kind of a traditional charity fundraising group. So it's anyone that would have an interest in helping to raise money and support projects like the education programs, the public events. We'll be looking to upgrade up the outdoor center. So if you've enjoyed visiting Little Cat and going to the programs or have your children go out, take the outdoor education, then this would be an opportunity to kind of give back towards that. They also helped out with some of the Maple Madness upgrades that we've done, and always little things that contribute to our work.
And if people are interested in volunteering with one of these groups, is this information that's available on your website, or should they seek out the individual friends of?
So our website, Cataraqui has the links. Each of the friends groups, the foundation has a link on our site there. That's a way to get hold of them that way. And then there's also memberships, and those can be purchased through there as well.
Okay. So varying levels of commitment depending on how much capacity that you have. And if folks are listening and don't have the time, but they might have a little bit of extra money, you did mention that there's a foundation. How do folks donate to and support Little Cat and Cataraqui Conservation in that way?
Yeah, so there's a donor link directly on there. Canada Helps, Shopify, and stuff are the way that we kind of process payments.
Okay. So Canada Helps, you would get a charitable tax receipt for your contribution, and that's instant. You were mentioning too earlier when we were chatting before we started recording that there is a Queen's student component that helps participate with some of your activities. Did you want to talk about that a little bit?
So for many years now at Maple Madness, we've had students from the Queen's Education come out and do, I guess you'd say, a placement with us. So Stana, who's our long-term senior educator at Little Cataraqui, can mentor them along, and in the, I won't say how many years, but it's many years that she's been doing this. It's been over 100 Queen students that she's mentored in that role. And I'm sure it's memorable for them. And Stana focuses on giving them time to connect with nature, kind of relax things away, and then share their knowledge, experience, and encourage the visitors to do the same. So that they learn what they're supposed to teach about the Maple program at the different stations that we have at the Sugar Shack there, and then gives them a chance to show how they can do that.
And a nice opportunity because, with the way that the school year works, a lot of students aren't going to have the opportunity, if they're interested in outdoor work, of working in an education role while they're still in class at an outdoor facility. And having, again, been there as Stana was sort of grounding the crowd, that was busy and frenetic group of people, and she got them all on the same level very quickly.
There's also just students part of the community. We get lots of Queen students that come out to the Maple Madness event. There's actually bus loads that come out some days. It's fairly inexpensive. The admission price is $5 and the pancakes are $2.50. Not too bad relative to other entertainment that's out there.
And if people can't make it directly to the conservation area, you do have a shuttle as well?
Yeah, so as part of the Samsung grant money that we got, we were able to offer a free bus shuttle service a few days during Maple Madness. So it goes from near the Landmark Cinema, and people can go to our event page and Maple Madness page there, and they'll find their kind of registration there to let us know they're coming, and it gives them the information on where to get the bus. I think it runs kind of on an hourly cycle there.
Okay, that's fantastic. Getting into exams and final season here at Queen's, so, if you need to get out and get some fresh air and recharge mentally and also recharge on some pancakes, you can't beat that deal for sure. Is there anything else that you want to talk about while we're chatting here? We've mentioned the website. Do you have social media as well?
We're on all the usual, and Facebook is a common one that we use to communicate, and Instagram as well.
Okay. Is there a newsletter, or should folks focus on the website if they want to get updates on other activities that you have coming up?
The information's on the website, and it's regularly updated, so you'll see the list of events for the next few months posted on there. You can get maps of the hiking trails, where each of the conservation areas has a page, and you can see some photos, and you can download a map. And then we've been doing lots of new maps at our properties as well. So there's the trail maps are there. You can snap a picture as you come in and follow along. Lots to explore.
Well, it's been a pleasure having you on. Do you have any final words before we wrap up?
I guess I've liked working at conservation authorities, and I think one thing that maybe I didn't realize as a student in kind of interesting environment was the range of disciplines that can be involved in kind of environmental work. It's not just biologists and scientists. I work with engineers, accountants. Accountants are very important to any organization being successful. You need a good accountant. We've had some good ones. And people that enjoy being out in the field, and then hydrogeologists. There's all kinds of different work that's done with us. We do enforcement work, so even people have kind of a little leaning towards enforcement. Some of our permit programs need that. Other conservation areas even have like wardens, like that would be working in their park areas. So there's lots of different roles, lots of good career opportunities in conservation authorities. People keep that in mind if you're looking ahead.
I think that's a great point. I think sometimes, especially at the high school level, we focus on these very linear career paths and get to university and beyond, and you realize that one route of education can take you down very many paths. And so if you have a passion for the environment, for conservation, and you don't think there's a way that it connects, I like what you're saying, that there are possible routes that can get you into a role that will tap into those passions.
With the flood season, that's a very important time. It's one of the more important things that we do at the conservation authorities. Every conservation authority on their site has a flood status icon on their homepage. There's different levels depending on how severe we think it's going to be. So we start out with statements letting people know what's coming up, and then as it gets more, as it is today, we are at a flood watch. If we thought that there was going to be strong flooding somewhere, then we put out a flood warning. Good to keep that in mind. Keep off the ice. Keep away from rivers. That message can't be repeated often enough. As soon as you get this change, the water is starting to flow and it's degrading the ice, and it changes rather suddenly.
So check the website, pay attention to the watches. Well, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. I really do encourage folks to check out what Cataraqui Conservation has to offer, very close to home, and important and valuable things for us to be aware of from both an environmental conservation point of view and a safety point of view and, a mental health point of view, getting out there and appreciating the world around us. So David, thank you so much again.
Sign up now to take over CFRC's airwaves yourself. CFRC 101.9 FM invites all Queen's University student groups and Kingston community organizations to take over our airwaves. Join us on air for an hour to talk about your student group or community organization and also present your own playlist of fun music chosen by your team. This is a great opportunity to talk about what your group does, how others can get involved or provide support, any big events your group has coming up, and how to keep up with the latest news about your group. Apply by visiting cfrc.ca/contact and selecting Apply for a Club Community Takeover. This project is made possible through the generous support of the Community Radio Fund of Canada's Radio Meters program.